The quiet after the noise. Picture this moment with me, if you will. For most of your life, you've been defined by movement, by the sound of alarms, by schedules and deadlines, by the endless pursuit of goals that always seemed just out of reach. Then one day, it stops. The clock still ticks, but the urgency is gone. The morning feels different, slower, quieter, maybe even a little unfamiliar. For some people, this feels like freedom. For others, it feels like loss. But beneath that silence, something tender begins to whisper. A question you haven't asked yourself in years. Who am I when there's nothing left to prove? That question, though it might feel unsettling at first, is actually the doorway to something sacred. It's the beginning of a rediscovery of purpose, not in what you do, but in who you are. Chapter 1. The Echo of Titles. For decades, your worth was measured by titles. Doctor, manager, teacher, builder, accountant, nurse. Your name carried weight because of what you contributed. People knew you by what you did. But when the job ends, when that title fades away, something in you might feel erased. You wake up one morning and realize no one is waiting for your report. No one needs your advice or your decisions. The phone doesn't ring with urgent requests anymore. At first, it can feel like being invisible, as though the world has kept spinning, and somehow you've stepped off the ride. Let me be honest with you. Many of us mistake activity for significance, but they're not the same thing. Busyness fills time. Purpose fills the soul. It takes real courage to sit in that emptiness, to stop defining yourself by productivity, to resist the urge to fill every moment with noise just to avoid the quiet. But that quiet? That's where the real work begins. Because when the noise fades, you finally have space to listen for what remains. And what remains is the real you, the person you've always been, underneath all those roles and responsibilities. Chapter 2. The Stillness Between Days. At first, the stillness feels unbearable, doesn't it? You've spent years chasing time, racing against it, and now time seems to chase you. The silence echoes too loudly. You might even find yourself missing the chaos you used to complain about. But here's what happens if you give it time. Something shifts. The silence becomes less emptiness and more canvas, a space where something new can grow. You start to see what you couldn't before. Morning sunlight through your curtains, birds you never noticed, children's laughter, coffee you actually savor. This isn't idleness. This is awareness. Purpose was never lost. You simply buried it under responsibility and constant doing. Now, with space to breathe, you can uncover it again. Helen was a bank manager for 29 years. When she retired, her daughter gave her a journal. At first, Helen wrote, "Went to the store. Nothing happened." But weeks later, her entries changed. Saw the most incredible sunrise. Had real conversations where I wasn't thinking about the next meeting. 6 months later, she said, "I thought retirement would be about what I lost, but it's about what I've found. I've found myself again, and I like her." This is where the rediscovery begins. Not in searching for brand new meaning, but in remembering what was always sacred. The stillness isn't emptiness. It's space for you to reconnect with the parts of yourself that got lost in all those years of doing. Chapter 3. Seeds of Renewal. Purpose doesn't disappear with age. It simply changes its form. Once you built a career. Now you're building connections, deep, meaningful, human connections. Once you managed time. Now you nurture hearts. Frank was an accountant for 35 years. After retirement, he felt useless. His wife suggested volunteering at the library. One day, a young boy was struggling with math homework, nearly in tears. His mother couldn't help. Frank walked over. "Mind if I take a look?" For an hour, Frank helped him understand fractions using pizza slices and stories. The boy's face lit up. "I get it! I finally get it!" That was 3 years ago. Now Frank volunteers 3 mornings weekly. He's the math guy. Kids ask for him by name. He told me recently, with tears, "I made good money as an accountant. But this matters in a way money never did." Through volunteering, mentoring, or simply listening, people become part of something larger again. But here's what's different now. You're not doing it to prove your worth. You're doing it because giving is the natural rhythm of a fulfilled soul. The joy of purpose now isn't in achievement. It's about presence, about being fully there for another person. And that is a purpose that never retires. Chapter 4. The Gift of Time. Time used to be your greatest enemy, didn't it? You raced against it, always fearing there would never be enough. Now you're learning something profound. Enough was always here. You just needed to slow down to notice it. Each morning brings a quiet invitation to slow down. Be grateful. Be present. When you stop chasing what's next, you begin to cherish what is. Donald was an engineer who filled his first retirement year with committees and projects. Exhausted and miserable, his daughter challenged him, "For 1 month, do one thing daily just for joy. Not because it's productive, just because it makes you smile." Day 1, ice cream on a park bench. Day 5, browsing a bookstore. Day 12, sitting in wildflowers. By month's end, his face had changed. "I forgot life could be light, that I could do things just because they make me happy." Time isn't a thief. It's a teacher. It reminds you that moments, not milestones, make a life full. The quiet morning coffee. The phone call with a friend. The evening when you realize, today was enough. I was enough. Chapter 5. The Legacy Within. Legacy is not about what you leave behind when you're gone. It's not about possessions or estate. True legacy is about what you live within other people right now. What you plant in their hearts through your words, actions, and presence. Every act of kindness you've shown, someone remembers. Every story you've told it becomes part of your family's history. Every lesson you've shared, it grows in someone else's garden. Barbara was a librarian who never married and had no children. For years, she worried her life didn't matter. Then, at her 75th birthday party, person after person stood up to speak. "You helped me discover books when I was struggling to read. You changed my life. You gave me a safe place after school when things were hard. I don't know where I'd be without that. You recommended a book to my wife 50 years ago. That led her to a book club where she met her best friend. One book recommendation changed our lives," Barbara cried. "I had no idea any of this mattered. But it did. Every kind word, every quiet moment of presence. It all created ripples that spread far beyond what she could see. So if you've been wondering whether your life has made a difference, let me tell you, it has. More than you know. Every person you've loved, every kindness you've shown, every moment you've been fully present. It all matters. It all creates the invisible threads that hold our world together. Epilogue being overdoing. So here we are, you and I, at the end of this conversation, and I really, truly hope that you'll carry this thought with you. You were never meant to be defined by what you do. You were always meant to be defined by who you are. We spend our youth chasing what we might become, and our later years remembering who we've been. But between those two lies, the most sacred truth, your worth was never in what you accomplished. It was always in who you are. Purpose isn't a finish line. It's not a destination you arrive at and then you're done. Purpose is a way of being, a quiet knowing that even in stillness, your life continues to matter. It's in the morning coffee you actually taste, the conversation where you really listen, the walk where you notice beauty, the evening when you reflect and think, today was enough. So when the applause fades and the world grows quiet, don't panic. Don't rush to fill the silence. Instead, listen closely. What you hear isn't the end of purpose. It's the beginning. Listen to that quiet voice inside you, the one that knows who you really are, the one that knows what brings you joy, the one that knows your worth has nothing to do with how busy you are. You matter because you exist, because you're here, because you're you. Welcome to this new chapter, this beautiful, uncertain chapter where you get to rediscover yourself. Welcome to purpose that doesn't come from doing but from being. Welcome to a life where enough is enough, and you are enough. Welcome home. Welcome home to yourself. May you find joy in the ordinary. May you discover peace in the stillness. May you really know that your life matters. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you.